All right, I'm back. I'm better than ever. Um, Welcome back. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, whatever. Um, I'm technically back, but also I don't know if I'm actually really back or it's like literally my introduction because I don't know if they ever posted the video. We'll let you know in 2 minutes. We'll check on the UIC radio YouTube and see if it actually happened or not. But I'm back on the mic like Eminem. And today, the weather outside it's good. Like, it's cold, but it's nice. The sun's out. Honestly, I just am over the cold. I'm in dire need of warmth and spring and summer. I'm just truly over it. Like, I can't keep looking around all of my big bags and my jackets and my hoodies and thinking like, oh, I wonder if this is gonna make me like feel sick today, you know? So today's been good. Let's check the weather for the rest of the week. Let's see. I'm out of breath, guys. I'm not gonna lie. Okay, it says it's gonna rain Thursday, Friday, Saturday, period. Yeah, I mean, it seems like it's gonna be a chill week in terms of weather. Hopefully so, because I have 2 midterms and I really can't deal with depression of midterms and cold weather. So hopefully it stays this nice again and like I can also start running. So following back up from last episode, which again, I don't know if you heard it or not. But I said that I would run. I have not run. I did not run. It got really cold after that one day that it was really nice and warm. So it's just gotten worse. Like, there was a couple days where it was like really cold and like snowed. Like, what? Where literally now March, but we were in February. I don't know. But it was just like a teasing of what is to come. Which kind of leads into my next point of I was in El Salvador for a little bit. I was in El Salvador from like the past Thursday until Monday night, and that's what made this weather worse because I was out there and it was beautiful. It was like 30 degrees. For you Americans, it was like 80s basically. Beautiful nature, trees, just like everything, and it was like all Latino and just so beautiful and nurturing for my soul and my spirit. It was truly what I needed. And so coming back here was just like not what I wanted to do. It was hard to get on the plane, let me tell you that. It was so nice and warm over there and it was just so chill, like no school, like teasing again, right? What the summer could be. And so it was very nice. I got to spend a couple days in the sun and just enjoy the heat and be at the beach. And when I was told that it was snowing in Chicago, I was cooked. I was like, ain't no way it's this cold over there. Like, I don't want to go. Like, I really, really did not want to come back. I was just like so in my mindful and peaceful era that coming back was just like not the best thing or like what I wanted to do. But I digress. I'm back. And that's all that matters. But not moving on yet. We're going to still talk about El Salvador because I have some stuff to say. Went to the beach, which was beautiful. The beach was so nice and fun. However, it was my first time flying United over there. I usually take like Copa or like Spirit or one of the bad ones, like not a good one, like the cheapest one. But this time around, United was the cheapest one, right? And honestly, it was luxury compared to what I'm currently and usually used to, which is like mid. So it was fun to kind of be in like this nice comfortable seat. First off, the seats were huge. You can tell it's American because they were fat seats. Second of all, I had a TV, and on the TV they were like putting like the morning show, and like I watched the Fantastic Four on the way there, and I also watched something else. Oh my god, I watched Sinners. And by the way, Sinners, favorite movie, best movie ever made. But I watched that on the way there, and I've never experienced that kind of luxury flying out into Latin America since I've moved to the US. So it was really nice to just like experience that. So that was on the way there. Okay, that was on the way there. Let's see if I can get this right. Hold on. Yeah, that was on the way there. Okay. On the way back, not good. Okay. Not good at all. Basically, I am on the way back. I'm already like, oh, I don't want to come back. It's gonna suck so much. Like, I'd rather just be in the warm. And then I get on my first flight and I'm like, you know what? It's okay. Like, I'm not gonna download any shows. I'm not gonna download what I normally would because, like, the flight is nice. It's a nice airplane. It's United. I'll be good. I get on the plane, right? And I'm like, oh, I have a bad feeling about this. Like, I just had a really bad feeling about getting on the plane. And I was like, damn, like, I don't really want to get on this plane. Like, not because I don't want to leave, but, like, I feel something is wrong. Anywho, I get on the plane. I'm looking around and I'm like, oh, this is an older plane. Like, there's no TVs on there. Like, fine, whatever. It's okay because they have free Wi-Fi. Like, what? Like, a whole airline having free Wi-Fi just mind boggled me. I was texting people on the plane. It was crazy. But I'm like, okay, whatever. I can still watch stuff on my phone. I sit down and I'm like pretty in the front. I'm on the 10th row. So it's one of those like economy extra seats. So I had extra space. It was nice. And I'm like, I have a bad feeling. And then I look up and I see the little safety pamphlet and it says Boeing 737. And I'm like, oh, I'm cooked. Like, I'm done. Like, I'm actually done. Like, I'm not making it home. Whatever. We start flying. I'm like chilling. I connect to Wi-Fi and I'm like texting people and watching TV and some turbulence starts. And I used to be really scared of turbulence, but no longer am scared because I learned the physics and science behind it. But the turbulence progressively gets worse and worse and worse. And then out of nowhere, this plane is shaking severely, okay? Horribly shaking. And I'm from Uruguay, okay? My country has experienced the worst plane crash in history, all right? If you haven't heard of it, Google it. It's the Uruguayan rugby team crash. There's a movie about it I highly recommend. But horrible experience, okay? So I'm already thinking, like, okay, I'm in this row. Like, am I going to survive or not? The turbulence gets so bad, guys. So flipping bad. That out of nowhere, the plane starts falling straight out of the sky. Like, fully starts dropping for like 8 seconds. Like, no joke. I swear on my life, on my mother's life, I thought I was gonna die. People are screaming, okay? I don't scream, but I go, oh my God. Because I'm like, there's no way this is how I'm gonna die. Like, I can't go out like this. Like, this is not and cannot be how I go out. And so I'm like so scared. People are not having a good time. I'm thinking this is it for me. I could have spent so much more money on my credit card. How are my family going to find me? How does my family know that I love them? Like, how do I? Because I'm trying to text people and phone is not working. Wi-Fi's off. So I'm like, these people are not going to know where I am because I'm going to fall over the middle of Mexico. The plane's going to crash in Mexico. Mind you, cartels are taking over Mexico. So I'm like double cooked. And I'm like, they're not going to find my body. I'm done. That's it for me. That was a horrible experience. It only lasted for a little bit. The rest of the plane, was chill. There was turbulence, but then the pilot goes like, hey, see, that's why you need to put your seatbelt on. We experienced some really bad turbulence, but just keep your seatbelts on. If you're in an aisle, please clear the aisle. If you're in an exit row, disconnect everything and like clear out the exit. And I'm like, in my 21 years of life, I've never, ever heard somebody say, a pilot at that, say, clear the aisles. Because what do you mean clear the aisles? What does that mean? Like, clear the aisles in case we have to run out. We don't want anybody tripping, right? Anywho, that was that. Second plane, I was like pretty chill. Just played a game on my phone the whole time. It was like fine. Landed in Chirac. It was freezing. It was so cold. Skipped my classes the next day, but whatever. But yeah, basically that was my quick story time. Not so quick though. And moral of the story is I'm not going to be getting on a flight anytime soon. I truly thought that was my time and that God was calling me home. I was so scared. I texted my mom. I said, I'm done. Like, I'm done, mother. Anywho, I know I said I'm not getting on a flight anytime soon, but I actually will be. I'm going to New York for spring break, which is fun. For a couple days though, not too long, which is cool. But I'll probably talk about that like another day, closer to the date. Oh, my iPad fell. Yeah, let me like take a chill pill. So let me be honest with you guys. I have a small little script for this. I didn't finish it though. I got lazy. But today's episode of Maggie and Co. is about el Super Tazón. Yes, you heard me. You heard it here first. Bad Bunny. Okay? Now, el conejo malo, a.k.a. Benito, a.k.a. Bad Bunny baby. Biggest artist in the world right now. Okay? And my current and forever number one artist. He is somebody that I am truly, truly a fan of. I don't like to call myself a fan of any artist because I'm not really sitting here listening to artists like that or like fangirling over people like that. But Bad Bunny has and will forever be the one person that I fangirl and call myself a fan of. Bad Bunny. I mean, following especially the Super Bowl, he is the biggest artist in the world right now. And I think he has made history. He made history a long time ago, but during the Super Bowl, so almost like a month ago now, he most definitely made history. All right. So, I want to talk to you guys a little bit about how I found out about Bad Bunny. I think it's funny, side note, parentheses, because everybody that's listening to this has heard my Bad Bunny fangirl for like ever and ever and ever. So it's kind of funny because everybody that's listening to this already knows, but still I'll reintroduce myself as that one. I'm on Reels. I'm not on TikTok, but that Reel says, let me reintroduce myself. So I found Bad Bunny's music in like 2014 or 2015. It was one of his first singles that he dropped like crazy. And I think it's with Arcángel. It's called Tu no vives así. It's a fire song. Okay. It was one of the first songs that I like ever learned how to sing like front to back to front, up, down, left, right, left, like every single way possible. I know that song. It was the first song that I ever truly like it like struck me for some reason. And this isn't like, we're not talking about poetry here, okay? We're talking like, oh, I just made eye contact with somebody that I really don't want to make, guys. Oh no. I'm like lowering my head a little bit. I really do hope they don't recognize me. This is so humbling. Oh my god, this is so humbling. Oh, this is so humbling. Okay, as I was saying, this is one of the first songs I can sing front to back to forward, everything. Okay, and he like I was saying, this isn't poetry we're talking about. This is like 2016 Latino trap era. Like we're talking like dirty. Okay, we're talking swearing. We're talking like your grandma can't listen to this, and my mom could barely listen to it. Okay. Hold on, let me fix the microphone. Okay, hopefully you can hear me better. But yeah, basically, I put everyone on. Oh, I can hear myself. I don't want to hear myself. Sorry, guys. I'm having a little bit of a crisis here. I put everyone on back in Uruguay. I put my mom on. I put my brother on, my best friend at the time. I put everybody on. And I even have a clear memory of listening to this at my, like, middle school / high school. And this guy told me, like, damn, you really like him, huh? And I was like, yeah, you need to listen to his music. Like, trust me, he's gonna blow up. And he blew up, didn't he? Anywho, I put everybody back on in Uruguay. I put them on him. And in 2016, my mom, my brother, my best friend at the time, and me went to his concert when he came to Uruguay, which was his first ever tour. Tickets were like $50, okay? And it was my best friend's birthday, so I bought him tickets for his birthday. And we all went together with my mom and my brother. And day pulls around to the concert. It's like a weekday, you know, like I think I'm the only person in my school going to this concert. And we pull up, it's cold as hell, it's by the ocean, like it was like an arena, so it was open by the ocean. And this man's like 30-40 minutes late. And if you guys have ever experienced humid cold, it was humid cold because I'm in Uruguay. So we're right by the beach. It's humid, but it's freezing. You feel it in your bones. So it's freezing. And I know it's common in the US for like artists to be late, but like everywhere else in the world, it's not. If your show starts at 10, then you're like, your opener is like 10 to 10:40 and then you're there. So bro was late and he had no opener. Like it was just him. So he's like 30, 40 minutes late. I'm like a 12-year-old schoolgirl, so I'm like, I gotta go home and sleep because I got school tomorrow. He finally pulls up. He pops out, bro. He ate his whole set up. It was just straight performing for an hour, okay? Like, you've got to imagine this, okay? It was, I don't even remember what the stadium was called, oh my god. But it's this, like, open stadium. It's, like, probably, like, 300 people, like, not that much, okay? Bad Bunny pops out. It's Bad Bunny, trap era, like, bald head, okay, because he was bald. He would wear his yellow glasses. He had this really interesting haircut. He had a fur jacket on, hoodie, and glasses, okay? And he's just straight performing an hour. No breaks, no dancers, no auto-tune, just him and a DJ. It was craziest thing I've ever seen. It was the best thing I've ever seen and the best thing to ever happen to me. I was like, that must have been like one of my first real concerts. Like that, yeah, that was one of my first real concerts. Or probably the second. And I never thought that I'd be listening to him 10 years later. Because like, we're talking like 2016 he performs. I've been listening to him since like 2015, I think. So like 10 years that I have been listening to this man, and he has been my number one artist consistently for like 7-8 years, okay? Like before that, he was on and off my number one artist for a couple years, and then has been my number one artist for like at least the past 5 years straight, okay? And like everybody likes to claim that they're the Bad Bunny fans, but let's be so for real, nobody in the US was listening to this man before like 2019, 2020, before he dropped a couple of his albums that became popular in the US once he partnered with like Cardi and Drake. But I digress, because that's a whole conversation people are not ready for, okay? Anywho, as we know now, he did the Super Bowl halftime show. And that's what I'm going to talk about today. Just because I think it was really interesting, and I've been like obsessed with it and been listening to it ever since they put it on Spotify for like weeks and weeks now, obviously. I'm going to break it up into sections about different things. So the first thing I'm going to talk about are just my initial thoughts. What were my initial thoughts when I saw it? So what I thought was at first when they announced it was going to be him, I was scared because I was like, oh, like, I love him too much. And if he does bad, like how, like, you know, I'm going to defend him till the end of the day. But like, it's like a lot, you know? And Kendrick had done so good. Like there was a high expectation, right? So I thought that he was going to start off with Nueva York or Nueva York, and it would be like a fully political performance, okay? Like Kendrick Lamar did. I thought he would bring out a lot of guests, and I thought that he was gonna eat like regardless. I thought that even if he didn't bring out guests, like he would really do good, like because I know that he can perform like, and I know he does good. But I was really nervous because I was like, oh, this is just like hard, like this is scary for me. Like I was scared. Anywho, I watched it. It was a very hectic environment, not an environment that I would be in again. But I will say my initial rating was like a 6 out of 10. I like didn't love it, but I loved it. I was like, this is cool. Like I F with this, you know, like this is cool. And I'll circle back to that a little bit because I think I was just like, it was a lot going on around me at home while I was watching it, but also just like I had to digest it, you know, and circling back and like looking at it the next day, I've rewatched it like a bunch and I've listened to it like so much. It's a 25 out of 10. It's 100 out of 10. It is so good. People are saying it's one of the best. And I mean, it got the most amount of views in like 24 hours, like that any Super Bowl halftime show has ever gotten, especially considering the Super Bowl itself was like so bad. It was such a boring game. But those were my initial thoughts about it. Loved it. I thought he was bringing out, like, I got like teased, and I got like, I thought he was going to bring out Cardi. I thought he was going to bring out Becky. Well, I'll talk about it in a second. But I also thought he was gonna bring out like Daddy Yankee and all of them when he teased that. So it was crazy. But yeah, the next thing I kind of want to talk about are songs that I wish he had done. And this is gonna be like a big chunk of everything because this is what I thought, okay? I really, really, really wish that he had dong. What the hell? Hold on. What the hell? Okay. I don't know how to stop it. There we go. Songs I wish he did. I really wish he had done Estamos Bien. This was one of the first, like, quote unquote political songs that I heard from Bad Bunny. And I think it's just an amazing song. Not only is it beautiful, understanding the context of which it was made, but it's just a beautiful song oh my God. It's been a long day. I apologize. Overall, it's an amazing song. To this day, when I have been needing uplifting, when I need something like nice and fun and just like melodic, I listen to Estamos Bien. When I need like a push on the back, some like type of encouragement, I listen to Estamos Bien. And it's just a really good song. And I think in the wake of the current situation and politics across Latin America, this song in of itself would have been an entire message to the world and like to Trump and like to the people at the Super Bowl. Because let's be honest, like, yes, there were Latinos at the Super Bowl and people went specifically to see Bad Bunny, but the big majority of people going to Super Bowl are white and are not aligning with the views of Bad Bunny and with the Latino community. And so I think it would have been a very big, like, almost middle finger, but also like, you can keep trying to put us down as Latinos and you can keep trying to get us down and make us not human, but like we'll survive. Like, we'll make it through. Don't worry, we'll make it. So I think the song is just amazing in that sense. I think that it just showcases the resilience of Latinos and like minorities, period. Because like, if you didn't know, the song was made after, I believe, Hurricane Maria in Puerto Rico took over and like the whole island was like destroyed. They had no power, no light, no food, no water, stuff like that. And I even kind of remember that this song it came out, it was on Spotify, and then it wasn't on Spotify like for years. Like, you couldn't hear the song unless you were on YouTube for years. And so I think that that's a song that I really do wish he had done, or some type of political song. I think not to be like, or basic, but I wish he would have done a full Debí Tirar Más Fotos, because although he kind of did, but like not really, like, I think again that song is a song that brings people together. And not to get emotional right now, but I think that this song, as someone who has moved away from my home and somebody who, like, I'm not a big photo taker, but I used to have all my memories of being in Uruguay, of high school, and in Switzerland. They were on my Snapchat, and I lost my Snapchat account last December. 2 Decembers ago. Yeah, like 2 Decembers ago, I had lost access to my Snapchat, and I lost, like, I want to say 7 or 6 years worth of memories. And it was like really hard for me, like, because not only did I have all my memories of being in Uruguay and like high school in Uruguay and then high school in Switzerland and like even family members who now have like passed away on my Snapchat, it just like really hurt because I lost a lot and I've never been able to access that again. And so that song, Debí Tirar Más Fotos, brings back a lot of like memories and sadness of like not being able to remember that. But my point is that as someone who has moved away from their home country and like, not having a family around me, I think it would have been amazing to hear it live. I think it would have been extremely emotional, especially considering like, I don't know, all of that's going on and like Bad Bunny being in an environment where he is like quote unquote the odd one out because he's not accepted. I think it would have just been amazing, outside of the fact that it's one of his biggest songs, probably the biggest song he's ever made so far. And it means a lot to people. Like, you see it in videos of his concerts that people they get up and dance when they hear this song. It makes you want to dance, like. So I really do think that this song would have been amazing to hear live. Let me sneeze, hold on. Okay, I'm back, sorry, I had to sneeze. But yeah, so I think that the United States doesn't appreciate life as well as like Latin America or other countries do. Like truly the whole aspect of life, of living, of loving, of learning, of sadness, of heartbreak, like all of the emotions of life, and also just like the day-to-day life. Like Americans don't enjoy that. Like people who live in the United States, and it's like not their fault, because it's a society that's made to be like, you go to school, you work, you're in debt, you work to pay that debt off, and then you die. And so I think that as a country who does not really appreciate life like that, or even like how they say at the beginning of the Super Bowl, that guy says, "Que rico que es ser Latino," like sometimes you forget that, like, and sometimes you need that encouragement and you need that music to bring you out of that slump and that cycle of like sadness and like, what's the word, like not even day to day, like office bureaucrat stuff like that, you know. So I think that, again, as somebody, like for me, sometimes you forget what it's like to be Latino. Sometimes you forget how nice it is and what it means and like the value that it brings to your life. And as someone who has left their home, and like I think a lot of people forget that about me, that I like don't have my family around and this is not my day-to-day like normal life. Like I think people forget that about me, and sometimes, and listening to this song, Debí tirar más fotos, brings me back to that. It brings me back to happy times, and it brings me back to thinking about someone I miss or something I miss, or it brings me back and makes me want to go back to these times of happiness, but it makes me happy. It doesn't make me sad. It makes me happy. It makes me nostalgic. It makes me joyous. It makes me feel good. So that's why I really do wish that he had performed that song in its full. Next thing, I wish he had done, at least switching gears to something less emotional, at least one OG trap song, whether it was Diles or Mayores or Me Mata. Like as an OG Bad Bunny fan, I would have gone crazy. And I do get that like Bad Bunny blew up from the United States, from going like American, you know, and like props to him, but I would have wished he'd done something from his roots, like something that would have put people like, what's that, you know, like a nod to his like OG self would have been cool. Kind of next, I really wish he would have performed La Jumpa. It's not one of his OG trap songs, but it's like the closest I've seen him get back to his OG trap songs, and I love this song. It's one of my favorite Bad Bunny songs. The video is amazing. The concept of having free concerts in Puerto Rico just on the spot for people, because he has that love for his country and the people, is amazing. Arcángel, I love him too. Arcángel and Bad Bunny, if you didn't know, they blew up and had their come up together. The Tu No Vive Así music video and song is with Arcángel. They're like friends. Some little Bad Bunny lore for you. And they've been making music for years. So the song is just amazing. I think it makes you want to dance and jump, kind of like Debí tirar más fotos or Baile Inolvidable. It makes you want to get into that vibe and like have fun, but different. Like it makes you more so, it makes you want to be with your friends and like have fun and like enjoy the night and like, you know, like, oh, it's such a good song. Like I'm listening to it in my head right now and it's so good. While Debí tirar más fotos is more emotional and it makes you happy emotionally because you think about family and your culture and like the sun, where La Jumpa is more like if I'm out at a bar or a club, like, and I hear that, I'm going crazy. So those are like the 4 songs I kind of wish he had done. Obviously I wish he had done a lot more and like other stuff, but I think his set list overall was fire. It was just amazing. The next thing I really wanted to talk about was just my thoughts on Ricky Martin being there and the lack of guests. So to be honest, I was really expecting a lot of features, and I think it would have been cool, but I was also kind of like, I just want to listen to him. Like, I want 15 minutes of straight Bad Bunny, which, I'm gonna be honest, I don't know if he super delivered on. I don't think he sang for 15 minutes. I think he did less than Kendrick because it was a lot of music, a lot of like symbolism and stuff, which I love, and like putting other people on and dancing, but I would have loved to hear him for more. I was really expecting and wanting to see Becky G on the stage because I thought that they would perform Mayores, which is one of like one of those really grotesque Latino songs, but it's good. I was also hoping for a Cardi B pop out. I thought she was gonna do it because like she was there and she kind of teased it, and also Cardi B like at the Super Bowl, that's a whole thing of itself because she like was getting like effed over by the guy that she was with, by Stephon Diggs. She threw like, apparently it was like $1 million party for post Super Bowl for him and his family and friends, and then at the Super Bowl she found out that he was like still caught up on his like old baby mama, or like cheating on her with his baby mama. And it's like, girl, get up. Like, you can survive. Like, these dudes are just like not good enough for Cardi B, but that's a whole other topic. But I really was thinking that she was gonna pop out, and like even having Cardi B there representing, I think she's Dominican, like her Dominican self would have been fire, because Cardi B is such a like New York like baddie. Like, I don't know if she's from the Bronx or where she's from. I think she's from the Bronx, but like a Bronx baddie. Like, it would have been fire to see her bring out her Dominican roots, you know, and like do that on such a big stage where especially she is publicly very anti-Trump, and compared to Nicki Minaj, who is extremely like, I don't know what to call her, but it would have been fire to see Cardi B up there while Nicki Minaj is like down and like married to a pedophile. Like, it would have been fire to see her. And like, I used to be a Nicki fan. I loved Nicki. Wasn't a big fan of Cardi, but Cardi's a good person, and that says a lot. Okay. Anywho, controversial opinion. Okay, my next one, controversial. I did not want Raúl Alejandro on that stage. I'm so sorry. I know everybody's like, no, Rao. But like, no, I don't like him. Okay. Like, yes, there's this one song that might have been on my top 5 last year on Spotify, but only because he was with Bad Bunny, and it's a good one. But I'm not a big Rao fan for some reason. I think post Rosalia, I didn't really like him, his personality. Also, his music has just never been for me. I just don't really like it. Just doesn't I don't vibe with it that much. It's good, but I'm just like not, like gonna listen to him or go out of my way to like listen to his album. Anywho, yeah, I just don't think that he should have been there. I know everybody wanted him there, but no, I'm okay. Like, that's okay. People said Drake was gonna pop out, and I'm sorry, but no. Just no. Like, Drake should not be there. Like, because if Drake were there, he'd make it a whole thing about him versus Kendrick, and it's like, girl, Kendrick had his own Super Bowl. What are you doing? Like, no. So I'm glad Drake wasn't there and did not become a guest. But honestly, I do really think Cardi and Becky were the only people I was actually expecting. I heard that like Fuerza Regida was gonna come out, and I was like, I'm good. I had heard Mark Anthony possibly, because it was gonna lead into like a transitioning of the Puerto Rican flag and culture, which I'll talk about after. But yeah, like I said, I thought I was only expecting Cardi B and Becky to pop out. But when he teased us with Daddy Yankee and Don Omar and all the OGs, I almost lost it. I fully almost lost my mind when that happened. I was like, there's no way. Like, there's no, like, I don't want to swear, but like, there's no flipping way. Like, there's no effing way that he's going to bring out all these people right now. I'm going to lose my mind. My head is going to explode like it does on Big Mouth, okay? But it was not, I guess. It was a homage. And I thought that was really cool that he like paid his dues to the people before him. Although it would have been insanely amazing, and it would have been overall like just crazy to have a group of Latinos on a stage at the biggest sports event in the United States, and like nobody else plays it outside the US. Like, it would have been crazy. But like I said, that's one thing that I really like about Bad Bunny, is that he pays his dues. He does not forget the people before him. He pays respect to those who came before him, and he shouts them out all the time. He's always shouting out like Daddy Yankee and like Tego Calderon on all his songs. So I really do respect that. And he brings people up with him too. Like, he'll bring out and like make music with smaller artists, or like artists of different cultures, and like bring cultures together, which I think is really cool. Obviously, he brought out Ricky Martin. And let me just start off with, I love Ricky Martin. I have loved Ricky Martin since that one song, Livin' La Vida Loca, if you will. My mother put me on when I was younger, living in New York. So I was probably like 7 years old, 6 years old. But fire song, Fireman, when he popped out, I was like, Like, I remember when the camera is like merging into the chairs, I'm like, who's he gonna bring out? I see freaking Ricky Martin, and I screamed. I was like, there's no flipping away that he just did that. He did amazing, and I think that he did, what did he do? Lo que le pasó a Hawaii. He is a gay Latino man who had to be in the closet for so long until recently, until he came out, and now he's like married and has kids. But I think that having him, a gay Latino man, singing a song like Lo que le pasó a Hawaii has so much significance, because not only is his existence and his own self controversial and like says a lot and like is very, it's a message in of itself. Having somebody like Ricky Martin on that stage at a public event in the United States in the times that we live in right now, okay? Crazy. But singing a song like Lo que le pasó a Hawaii, which is a crazy, amazing song, it says so much about the fears and the resistance of Puerto Rican people against like mainland Americans moving into their country and taking over, or not their country, sorry, their land, and taking resources away from their people to open up hotels and resorts. Okay? That's exactly what happened to Hawaii. Like, Hawaii was also, I think, my history's not good, so please don't yell at me, but like colonized and then became a territory and then later on a state of the US. But I think it was incredible. The song is incredible. I wish I knew more about the song. I wish I had looked into the song more and about the history of Hawaii, to be honest. But again, he is a man who, in Latino culture, Ricky Martin, right, is not quote unquote normal or quote unquote accepted because we live in a machismo culture. Bad Bunny is always called so many names because he wants to paint his nails or because he wants to wear a dress. Like, for those of you who didn't know, he always gives like props to the drag queens, and he's done videos in full, like music videos in full drag. Like, this man, he puts people up. And I think having Ricky Martin on there is just amazing, especially because he had to like hide his identity for so long and became famous off of like almost like his sexualization towards women, like straight women. And he's now accepted by this really big like generation, right? I think it says a lot. You can tell when he sings it that he's singing it out of passion and love and true resistance to what is happening. It touches your heart. Like, the passion that they have for their countries, I think, is so touching. Okay? And I can't imagine like what it feels like to be Puerto Rican and hear that kind of performance or those albums or that music. And like I honestly can't imagine. Like, so I loved Ricky Martin there. Those are my thoughts on Ricky and the lack of guests. The second like big part I want to talk about is the symbolism within the show. I don't have like, again, this is also where I started to forget about my script, but it's okay. If you couldn't tell, I think Kendrick Lamar's Super Bowl was very, very clearly full of symbolism, like the game, and there's a tic-tac-toe, Uncle Sam, and it's the actor Samuel. Guys, I don't remember his last name, I'll be honest, but like there was a lot of symbolism. I mean, he's like Uncle Sam, but it's a black man, and he's talking about a game, like you're not playing the game, like, in talking about racism within America, or the United States, excusez-moi. There was a lot of very obvious symbolism. I think that also, because it is a United States sports event, obviously the symbolism within Kendrick's is a lot more obvious because racism is like so ingrained in this day-to-day life and so obvious, like it's not hidden. But Puerto Rico's symbolism and the symbolism of Bad Bunny was not obvious in a lot of parts, because it's like, first off, I would bet money that half of Americans, probably more, Americans, do not know that Puerto Rico is a colony and neither a country of itself nor a state, okay? So they don't have like they can't choose their own representative for the US Senate, House of, I don't know, guys, the politics behind it, but I just know that they can't choose their own, like, what is it? It's not governor, senator. I don't know. I think it's governor, actually. Anywho, like, they can't choose their own JB Pritzker. Okay, is what I'm trying to say. It's chosen for them. So I think that the symbolism is a lot more hidden. I think one of the first pieces of symbolism that I'm going to talk about is from El Apagón. Okay, well, first off, let's circle back. When they say que rico que es ser Latino, yeah, period. There's no symbolism in that, but period. It's nice. I promise you that all of us Latinos live a happier and better life, especially like Latinos who were born and raised in their countries. They live a better life than any, like a happier life than any American, because they are born in a different culture that appreciates life, if that makes sense. I digress. El Apagón. Obviously, I have to talk about this. I think this was the most obvious point of symbolism, because obviously the song in of itself is a very big point of symbolism. It has a lot of history within the song El Apagón. But obviously, it tells a story of the lack of resources and the taking of resources, really, in Puerto Rico, of like electricity, of light, of water from the people into resorts and big corporations that move out there and take the resources away. Also, the lack of reliability, right? So I think it's really interesting, and I think it's really cool. I really liked how he told that story with the people falling off, and it's like the farmers, they're in their like straw hats and like in traditional, right, like Puerto Rican farmer attire. I believe, I don't know, guys, now I'm feeling like I'm like appropriating or like something. Anywho, I'm not trying to, I'm just uneducated, and I forgot to finish the script. If not, I would have educated myself, so I apologize. But I think especially Bad Bunny going on that pole, when he climbs up that light pole, his reaction and his performance is insane. It's so good. It's like, it's so good. You can tell the passion he has on there, that he's like moving with the flag. He's like, he just is the embodiment. Okay, so 10 out of 10 for El Apagón. The next thing I want to talk about is the God Bless America part. Okay, because people say he's not proud to be an American, because that man is an American. Okay, he doesn't want to be American. He's not from the United States, blah blah blah. Bro's saying God bless America. He was holding a ball that said the same thing. That part though really did touch my heart. Watching it live and hearing him talk about America as a continent. And yes, I've said America multiple times throughout this episode, being like, oh, the United States. But I honestly hate when people say that. It makes me really mad, because it's not true. Like, when I first moved here, I think I've also like assimilated a lot, but when I first moved here, I felt so like erased when people would say America about the US, because it's like, baby, that's not America, that's the United States. America is this: Canada, Uruguay, Mexico, Puerto Rico, Guatemala, like all of them. Okay, anywho, this part really touched my heart. Seeing it and watching it live and talking about America as a continent, okay, was just amazing. As someone who comes from South America, and I'm not talking Central America, okay, because in the US, people tend to, they more than tend to, people think of Latin America and they think Mexico, Puerto Rico, and Central America, okay? They forget that there's a whole continent down south, which is South America. And I've never felt Latina until I left Uruguay. I was never put into that category until I left Uruguay and I was outside from my culture, okay? I also never felt unworthy of being Latina, and I've never felt like I wasn't Latina enough until moving to Europe and later to the United States, because I wasn't Mexican enough, or I wasn't Puerto Rican enough, I wasn't brown enough, I wasn't long hair enough, like I didn't have this, I didn't have that. Like, it kind of is, when you leave your country, it becomes extremely stereotypical what it is to be Latina or Latino. So hearing him mention Uruguay and Chile too, because I was born there, and Argentina because they're like our sister to Uruguay, it was so touching. Uruguay was number 3. When have you ever heard of Uruguay being number 3? And everybody likes to make fun of like, oh, Uruguay, like, oh, where are you from? Like, who knows that? Whatever. Okay. Hearing it come out number 3 was so touching, because in the US and across the globe, like I said, Latino or Latin America or being Latino is Central America specifically. And a lot of other countries are dismissed or not represented because we're not that, or we're smaller, or because we don't have the same traditions. Like, just because I don't know how to dance does not mean I'm not Latin American. And so it's really interesting, like, actually, when you look at it, the identity part as well. Because, like, no offense, but like half the Latinos in the US don't speak Spanish. And I'm not saying that to take away from their identity, but hearing like actual South American countries get their shout outs touched a piece of my heart and like made me want to cry, because it really did. It made me feel seen. It made me feel seen. And I think I've heard that also from a lot of people who are from different countries and not the like main ones that are usually known. They like all felt seen. And then the last part, the inspirational message from Bad Bunny, but also the stuttering part. I think this part was just so representative of Bad Bunny, and like encouraging people around him to stay positive and happy and be who you are is so very much like him, especially in times like we are right now. And I also think his stutter is really funny, because he says, tú también puedes ser, or debe de creer en ti, something like that. And I think it's funny because it was one of the grass people who was holding up a Mexican flag and like waving it. And I think it's hilarious because you can see how Bad Bunny does a double take to look at the flag, like, what the hell? And I think it gives it so much personality, and it makes it unique, and it makes it personal. And I think the overall message is also something that just like really shows why people love Bad Bunny and like look up to him, right? The wedding was just amazing. I'm like running out of time, honestly, but the wedding was amazing. It was like so good, and just like I have so many memories of that from back home, like being at quinceañeras or being at weddings and falling asleep on a chair, or like dancing with everybody. And I think that the fact that it was a real wedding made it even more special, because it's not like fake or like, I don't know, made up. It's a real flipping wedding, you know? Oh my God, I forgot to talk about Lady Gaga. Just realized that. She was fine. I mean, whatever. I don't really care to talk about her that much, but she was cool. And after the wedding part, a couple days later, my stepbrother sent me a photo of our nieces at a wedding asleep on a chair, and he said something like, somebody sent this to Bad Bunny, and I was like, this is so funny. Like, this is just so accurate, right? And I'm gonna start wrapping up, but like I felt so many emotions throughout this whole thing. I cried a couple times watching it. I was happy. I felt proud. I felt represented. I felt like, I don't know. I just felt something nice. And in such sad, depressing times that we are currently in such scary times, the fact that he didn't make it as obviously political as I was expecting and a lot of people were expecting, I think it was just amazing. It was just beautiful. It was beautiful. It gave me happiness. I've been listening to it so much on Spotify ever since they put it on there. I know it by heart. I know what songs are coming up. I know everything. And I just love it. I love Bad Bunny. I thought it was just fire. He ate up. Trying to go see him, like, for real soon. I don't know if I could ever meet him, though. He's like the type of person I would never want to meet. Like, I'm good, bro. Like just stay like the person I look up to, my number one artist. Like, I don't want to meet you. But yeah, I think I'm gonna start wrapping up. To do for next week is just hopefully I have 2 midterms on Thursday, so hopefully that goes well. I'm hopefully gonna keep going to class. I've been skipping classes so goddamn much. It's actually crazy. So hopefully I make it to classes. What else? I have to do, I don't think I'm gonna have an episode next week because I have to do a town hall unless I like film it ahead of time. So if something comes out in 7 days, which would be on the 10th, the 9th, I filmed it ahead of time so that we could post it so I don't miss another one. But yeah, that's basically it. Thank you guys for listening in. I'll talk to you guys next week. I don't know what I'm going to talk about next week. I was thinking, my roommate Kathy gave me the idea to do incarceration, so I think that would be cool. But maybe I'll bring like either somebody, like, I'll probably have somebody on to talk about that, because I can't talk about incarceration for an hour. I need, like, dialogue, you know? But yeah, that's basically it. Okay, love you guys all. I hope you guys go listen to Bad Bunny now, and like hopefully the weather gets nicer so Bad Bunny's more vibes. Also heard he might drop soon, so hopefully. I don't know how you can do any better than that. Like that's gonna be hard to do something like Debí tirar más fotos after. Whatever. I need to shut up. Okay, goodbye now.